Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. If you are a Sega Genesis fan, or at least a fan of the Sega Genesis controller, then I have some really exciting news. Let's get started. So if you've been watching my channel, if you're subscribed, you will know that I am a big fan of 8Bitdo. And 8Bitdo just announced a brand new controller, and they're calling it the M30. It is a Sega Genesis controller. There are two versions coming out. Now you can tell by this image, they're using it with the Nintendo Switch, which means one of these versions is Bluetooth. And if I scroll down the page here, this is on 8Bitdo's website. Compatibility, Windows 7 and above, Bluetooth 4.0, Android, macOS, Steam, Switch, and the Raspberry Pi. And if I scroll down just a little more here, they also have a smartphone clip. So for you Android gamers out there, this is amazing. And if we look at their technical specs on this, compatibility, we just went over, controller mode, X input, which is great for Windows users, D input, Mac mode for those Macintosh users, and Switch mode. On top of that, this controller will have a turbo function, and they're saying it's going to be lag-free. It is also USB-C. To me, this is very exciting news. 8Bitdo has a history of making very quality controllers. I did a teardown, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description below, of their SNES controller, and it was closer to the actual original SNES than the SNES mini controller was. That's how good 8Bitdo has been able to replicate classic controllers. So something I did notice, which is great but also has a bit of a drawback on this controller. You can see L and R buttons on the top. So on the top there are L and R buttons which were not really native to the original Genesis controller. Now this is good and bad. It's good because if you're holding the Genesis controller and feel like using L and R, you can, but it's mapped to Z and C. And Z or Z and C are these two final buttons on the controller. So essentially they're performing the exact same function. So if you were looking for an 8-button controller to have those two extra buttons, unfortunately this is a 6-button controller. You get X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. That is it. The L and R are not two extra buttons. They're extra buttons in the sense that yes, you can press them, but they are just mapped to Z and C. And they're already available for pre-order, so we can already see in the States the price is going to be $29.99. And I'll leave a link to this in the description below. In the UK, it's going to be £27.99. And they're also coming out with an 8Bitdo retro receiver. Now this is a little different than the controller. This receiver is not just for their controller. So this receiver, you can see, plugs right into the Genesis. It's got the Genesis port on the front, and you can pair the Bluetooth controller to that to control the Genesis game wirelessly. However, true to 8Bitdo's fashion, this looks like it's also going to work with an Xbox One controller, DualShock 3, the Wii U pad, the Nintendo Pro controller for the Switch, and the DualShock 4 is there, and then also 8Bitdo's other products. And if you don't believe me, you can read about this product. Compatible with next-gen controllers, Xbox Bluetooth controller, PS4, Wiimote, Wii U Pro, Switch, Joy-Cons, and Switch Pro. And then they're highlighting this lag-free. Probably say it's close to lag-free. Whenever you're introducing a wireless solution, there is inevitably some sort of lag. So the battery life on the controller is rumored to be about 20 hours, which is quite a bit. And on top of this, they're also going to be releasing a 2.4G controller as well. Now, this is different than the Bluetooth controller. The 2.4G is strictly for use with the Sega Genesis or the Megadrive. So it is not to be used with your Android phone or paired to your Windows PC. This is strictly for the Genesis. The 2.4G will be easier to connect. It should be a smoother connection than the Bluetooth one. However, your options are more limited. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Unfortunately, that's all the news I have right now. I'm really looking forward to this. 8Bitdo has a history of producing very quality controllers. I've been very happy with them. And to have this Genesis controller is something special. I'm really looking forward to see if they also work on the Sega Saturn controller and maybe do a Bluetooth version of that. By the sounds of things, they might. Anyways, let me know what you think about this Sega Genesis controller in the comments below. As always, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Thank you, everyone. Take care.